Great view right here where the grass is dying in amongst the clover here. That's what we want, a beautiful clover patch at the end of July. It's super hot out here and this clover is still very happy. And now we're knocking out all these grasses and broadleafs, cleaning up the clover plot, getting ready for September, which will be here before we know it. To do this, we're using 2 different chemicals and a non-ionic surfactant. The first thing we're going to use is the Imazamox. You have followed my videos, you know I'm very fond of this chemical. This is what we spray post-emergent on sunflowers, and you can spray it over clover as well. And we're spraying grass out. Active ingredient is clethodim, very effective on grasses. Imox is very effective on grasses as well as a variety of broadleafs. And as always, I'm mixing in my non-ionic nitrogen-based surfactant, NitroSurf. The rate for the Imazamox is up to 5 ounces per acre. This is exactly a half acre, so we're going to put about 2.5 ounces of the Imazamox, and this is up to 12 to 16 ounces per acre. I'll double check that and drop it below. So we're going to put out about 8 ounces of the grass out clethodim. We're also going to mix in about a pint of the NitroSurf. Neither one of these have a built-in surfactant like the Roundup would, so we need something to help it stick to the leaves, and that nitrogen is going to give us a little bit of a bump on the clover as well as help uptake the chemical into the grass and knock it out. First up is 2.5 ounces of the Imazamox. And I've already got about 15 gallons of water in here. I'll put another couple gallons in here to make it a nice mixed up solution, but I only need about 15 gallons to spray that half acre plot. Next up is about 6 ounces of the clethodim. And lastly, a little over a pint of the NitroSurf. Add a little bit more water in here to get it all mixed up. But like I said, we're going to spray about 16 gallons on a half acre. All right, let's go spray some clover. $15 gallons was exactly enough. A lot of people are always asking how much solution or how many ounces per gallon. You've really got to know your equipment. Every sprayer is going to have a different flow rate depending on the type of nozzles you have. Just learn your equipment, do a 5-gallon bucket test, put 5 gallons of water in there, start the timer, see how long it takes to put it out. You can do some calculations. For me, 30 gallons to 35 gallons per acre is what I can put out. So anytime I start doing my math, half acre food plot, about 15, 16 gallons. In addition to just knowing your equipment and knowing flow rates, you also have to be constantly doing maintenance to these things. For example, I had one of these tips foul out on me with debris in there, and sure enough, it was not putting down an even spray pattern here, and that's in my blind spot when I'm sitting on my tractor. Make sure your equipment is running properly before you take off across the field and waste your time. This has been a fantastic sprayer. We did some upgrades, have a couple cheat codes for it. If you all want me to do a sole video on just this guy's ins and outs, I can certainly do it. If you want to see a video about the spray tank sprayer and go through it, drop a comment, let me know. Hopefully, between the Imox and the clethodim, we'll knock it all out. We'll come out here in a couple weeks, check on results. Should have a pretty good kill. If you're newer to the channel and haven't followed much of the deer food plot stuff, I don't do quite as much of that. I'm more into the duck and dove stuff, but I do have 2 clover plots that I'm maintaining. This one here is at my personal residence, and we sprayed it with glyphosate about 2 months ago with a really low dose to knock out the grasses, but you can see a lot of the grasses came right back on. So glyphosate at a very low dose works. It does not seem to have gotten lasting results, and I think that's where the Imox comes in. You're gonna get a lot longer lasting results, and it's specifically labeled for clover, whereas glyphosate is not. I don't think poor Hudson's corn plant is gonna make it. He wanted to plug one of the dwarf field corn seeds in the food plot here, but it's just not getting the love down here. And here we are back out here. You can tell that clethodim and Imox is really working on this grass. And just like the label says, it's gonna knock out your grasses, a lot of the broadleafs. That dog fennel stressing out, but the clover remains unharmed and untouched. Great view right here where the grass is dying in amongst the clover here. That's what we want, a beautiful clover patch at the end of July. It's super hot out here and this clover is still very happy. And now we're knocking out all these grasses and broadleafs, cleaning up the clover plot, getting ready for September, which will be here before we know it. This swath of clover right here against the tree line is noticeably better, like I was mentioning earlier. I don't know if it's the sun or the shade or exactly what it is, but there's a lot more clover on this lower half of the field. It probably gets a little bit more moisture down here, and these nutrients probably migrate off this hill and help to keep this clover a little bit happier. This is about 3 years of messing around with clover, and you do have to keep them mowed and you have to keep them sprayed. Otherwise, the grasses are just gonna overtake these things something wicked. Hope you guys learned something on this one. Nothing beats following the label and using the correct chemicals for the job. Glyphosate did help knock out the grasses and weeds, but it did not have a lasting effect. Whereas this clethodim and imox should help knock out the grasses and weeds and have a lot better lasting results. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you take things away from these videos. As always, I really appreciate the comments, the feedback when you get in the comments below. Great dialogue. But until the next one, God bless and take care.